the old Dewalt D24000 versus the new Dewalt D36000. Let's compare. Now, this video is for those who have never owned a Dewalt tile saw, or those who own an older Dewalt D24000 and are considering upgrading to the newer, larger Dewalt D36000. We are simply going to compare these two tile saws, the cutting capacity, the water containment, the cost, the price, the reliability, the transportation. So before we get into that, let's just simply show you the size difference, the visual size difference of both saws without the trays and with the trays. Now this is what these two saws look like visually without the water trays. And as you can see, there's not much of a difference. Let's show you up close and talk about the differences, of course, in weight and transportation without the water trays. Now we'll first start with the classic, original D24000. This was released in 2005. It is 16 years old. It is one of the best selling tile saws on the market, hands down, with contractors, builders. And moving on to the new D36000, you can obviously see this tray. It is much longer, a bit wider than the D24000. Your motor mount, blade placement is identical. This arm is much smaller than this arm. Obviously, this arm extends in order to cross-cut and cut diagonally much larger tiles than this saw. And of course, the tray is much longer to rip longer tiles than this saw. So those are the three elements that make this saw 20 pounds heavier than the D24000. Your larger arm here, your larger rail system, and of course your larger tray. Smaller tray, smaller rail system, smaller arm. Regarding transportation, this is obviously much easier to pick up and move from point A to point B. This is still easy to pick up and move from point A to point B with one person. It just simply is a bit awkward with this large arm here. Water trays are both the same size, but the extension trays are not. And as you can see, how far this tray extends compared to the D24000. Obviously, this is for your ripping capacity. So in the end, this does not feel much heavier than this moving around by yourself, but it is more awkward. Let's install the trays and show you the size difference with the trays. Here, we have your massive D36000 rear tray and your additional small shield to protect from your overspray, your large format support extension tray, and your two-piece side extension tray for water containment. D24000, a single rear extension tray for water containment, your side tray for water containment, and your much smaller extension tray for large format tiles. Now with the trays equipped, that's where the sheer size difference comes into play. Check it out. this puts it into better perspective with all the trays equipped, as well as this tray fully extended if you install indoors. You might want to reconsider this D36000 because it is massive. You need a lot of room to cut with the saw, as where the D24000 is much more compact. All in all, setup and breakdown time is about the same with each saw. From what I know, these motors are identical, both 15 amps, so you're not gaining any more power with the new Dewalt. The stands for each saw are identical. The blades that come with these saws are the same. The pumps are the same as well. And again, this saw weighs 70 pounds, the new Dewalt 90 pounds. Let's now compare the cutting capacity, and that's where the higher price comes into play with the new Dewalt tile saw, and then I'll tell you whether or not I think it's worth it. The distance between the blade and this arm is a little over 18 inches, where the difference between this arm and this blade is 13 inches. That simply means the D24000 can cross-cut up to 24 inches, where the D36000 can cross-cut up to 36 inches. When it comes to ripping long tiles, the old Dewalt can rip up to 24 inches, where the new Dewalt can rip up to 37 inches. When it comes down to cost, this saw is over $500 more than the old Dewalt for cutting larger tiles, as well as containing the water while you cut those larger tiles. The only way I think this would be worth it is if you cut large tiles, 2 feet up to 4 feet tiles indoors. You would want to look at the D36000. If you are cutting small tiles to large tiles, usually outdoors, I would definitely go with a D24000. You will save a lot of money, and I'll show you a hack on how to cut a 36-inch tile outdoors with this saw. Here we have a 36-inch plank, and as you can see, it fits nicely on this tray, and these massive extension trays will contain the water when you're working indoors. And then you have the Dewalt D24000. It sits up on this lip here. This lip is about 5/8 of an inch, and here's the quick hack to make it easy to rip a 36-inch tile only outdoors. If you did this indoors, it would make a mess. 1/2-inch foam board. You simply place this on the tray. You still have a little bit of lip there to square it off. This is basically your custom large format extension tray. A large speed square. And we now make our cut. Inch and 3/8, inch and 5/16. Close enough for me. 36-inch rip. We'll show you how using the same method will allow you to rip a 48-inch tile on the new Dewalt. Use the same board, square, and a 4-foot porcelain tile. And there you go. Is the new high-capacity Dewalt saw superior over the D24000? Absolutely not. If you usually cut subway tile up to a 12x24, I would definitely save the money. Go with the D24000. You can cut those tiles outdoor as well as indoor and contain the water. But if you see yourself cutting larger and larger tiles, 2 feet up to 4 feet, especially indoors, definitely invest the extra money in this. It can cut it quicker and easier and contain the water for cutting indoors. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tile saw comparison video. If you want to see future videos, don't forget to tap the subscribe button down there. If you like this video and you want to help my channel, best way to do that is to share the video or tap the like button down there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.